Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of T-Dog RC. So back at the bench this evening, and today's video is all about building the Sky Shadow Reptile S800. So I've went through a unboxing review a couple of weeks ago. It's the last thing. It was the last video I did at the old house. So you've seen all this stuff in here. Hopefully you've seen all the bits that I bought for it. So I've got servos, motor, speed control, all that sort of stuff in there. So I'm going to start that. In terms of radio gear, I bought one of these, a Black Sheep sort of TBS Crossfire mini module to go in the back of my Radio Master TX16S. So I thought I'd give one of those a go in this with the little nano receiver. Got to solder that up to put an S bus plug on it, and then I'd forgotten I'd actually got this, but I bought it a while ago. This is a Detram flight controller. It's a pretty basic one. I've not even, oh, I have opened it. So yeah, it's one of these sorts of jobs like this. So it's an actual little controller, and it comes with a GPS module as well. So it's got return to home and that sort of stuff on it. So thought I'd try out on this model. Should be ideal for that. There's plenty of room in it to put something like this in, so that should be fine. And also, yeah, this will be the first time I'm using a Crossfire as well, so that should be interesting to see. And then with it having the long range capability, I've also got should be in the post on its way to me, somewhere at sea at the minute I think, but I've ordered a DJI HD FPV system, so that should be coming soon, and I might try one of the cameras in this as a first attempt. So we'll see how that goes, but in the meantime, let's get this thing built. So as usual, get yourself a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and let's get stuck in. So the build continues. It's the following day. I just thought I'd give you a quick update on progress. So the wings, I have glued on these wing tips. I've used foam tack for most of the stuff I've been doing. So got all that done yesterday, and obviously cut all the bits off that I needed to. I've glued in the wing spars, so there's some carbon spars that run along the elevons and also along the front of the wing, just to stiffen it up. So they're all glued in. I mounted the ESC. Now the ESC is a lot bigger, the one I'm using, than the one that they recommend, so it won't actually fit in the hole, and so I can put the carbon cover on it. I did actually 3D print this afternoon a larger cover, just like a scoop, which goes on there, but it's still going to be the ESC's too big basically. But it's fine. It looks, it's on the bottom of the aircraft anyway, so you can't see it, and I think it actually looks quite good just poking out like that with the sticker on. It will certainly get plenty of cooling. I've done the motor mount. I've mounted the nuts in the back of this and glued those in, so hopefully I should be able to take the motor mount on and off. That's the idea, without the nuts spinning. And then the motor mount itself, I mentioned in the unboxing video, I've 3D printed a mount for this, so that's what I'm using. So I've got the motor attached to that, and then I'm going to be putting that on there. Glued these little carbon inserts in, the cooling vents, and also on the inside just glued in the wooden reinforcement there for the battery. So that's where I'm at. I've got to get the wings glued on, and then hook the control rods up, and then one of the things that's going to take me a little while, which is what I'm going to do now, is I need to cut these cables right down from the motor, and cut these down as well, and I'm going to permanently solder them to the ESC. So I'm going to get that done now. Obviously make sure I've got the motor spinning in the right direction. And the other thing, I mentioned yesterday that I was getting the DJI FPV system. So as it happened, purely by coincidence, that actually turned up today. So got this and the two air modules. It was an offer that was on Vanguard, so you got two air modules with it as well. So they decided to go for that. So I think I'm definitely going to put one of these air modules in this, and I think hopefully I'll be able to get it in the nose, because this is designed to take two cameras, an FPV camera and like a GoPro camera, but I think if I put the air module one side and then the actual camera the other side, because these record in 1080p anyway, I think it is, certainly it's HD that they're recording. Yeah, I think it is 1080p 60 frames a second, so don't really need a GoPro on this anyway, so I've got that extra room to put the air unit there. So that's my plan with that, and it should be a lot of fun. So anyway, I'm going to get stuck back into building this. Right, so that is the wing pretty much finished. Took a lot longer than I expected, to tell you the truth, although I haven't been working on it flat out. I've been sort of going doing bits each evening, so it's taken me a little while to get it together for such a simple model as well. So first of all, the kit itself, it went together really well. The foam fits really nicely. You can't complain about that at all. It's really good quality foam for the money. It's superb. Managed to get this motor mount sorted out quite nicely. So as I mentioned, I 3D printed a mount, which I've got some nuts in the back of the mounting plate there, and I've glued those nuts in so I can screw this motor mount to the plate and take that on and off if I need to, and then the motor itself is glued to the 3D printed mount, and it sits there really nicely, and it also stands it off a little bit more as well, which should make it a little bit quieter than if it was just mounted directly to the mount. So that's all good. The only sort of complaint that I've got about it is these control horns. I think I said at the start of the video, I quite like these sort of ratchet control horns. They're just really easy, but these ones are absolute dog poo basically. These things just don't even, they just pop straight off as soon as you fasten them on. So first thing I would do if you buy one of these is get rid of those control horns. I've got some more on order, but they've not come yet because I wanted some black ones. I've got some spare white ones knocking about, but I wanted some black ones. So I'm just waiting for those to come just to finish that off. So I got the carbon control rods set up. Quite pleased with those. They look pretty cool, nice and sturdy as well. Just need to put a little bit of Loctite on these, I think, once I'm happy with them, just to stop them moving around. But yeah, they're all good. So I put the standard decals on, and then underneath I have put these fluorescent stripes just to give it a bit more visibility, because although I want to set this up as FPV, I will be flying it line of sight a fair bit as well, so I'll put those on just to make it stand out a little bit more. And I need to go over these with a hot iron, and the same with the decals as well, just to make sure they're properly sealed onto the foam. ESC's gone in there. Quite a nice fit in the end, and it sticks out, so it'll get plenty of cooling. I ended up wiring the motor directly to the ESC in the end, so I desoldered the connections on the ESC, took those off and just wired the motor on directly. It was much neater doing it that way, and initially I tried to join the two cables together. I've just put some insulation tape over these wire channels, and that's worked out quite well as well, and just a little bit of insulation tape over here just to protect these connectors. And then I've glued in, there was a carbon fibre piece which came with the kit, which is actually something to do with the camera, but because I'm going to be putting the DJI camera in this one, I don't even know what that's for, but I certainly don't think I'm going to need it. So I've actually used that to make a catch, because that is really quite hard to get off. And then on the inside, there's not tons of space actually. If you had like a sort of a fairly large flight controller in here, it would be fairly snug. The battery goes here, but obviously the camera is going to go up here, so I've got to figure out yet how I'm going to fit the camera and the air unit into here. But I think there are a few mods on Thingiverse to do some 3D printing, so I'll have a look at that. In terms of connecting the camera up, what I've done is I've bought a couple of these things. So that is a 3S or 4S. I've got both. That plugs into the balance port of the battery to just give you a little JST pigtail. And then I've got a Maytech Beck. So this is a micro Beck. So this is going to supply, I think it's a constant 12 volts. Yeah, 12 volts to the camera, to the air unit. You know, and obviously it won't allow the voltage to fluctuate because it's a Beck, and it will keep it constant. And then I'll just solder from the air unit will solder onto this, and then I'll have one of these plugs on the other end, so I can just take it on and off. So it should be quite a nice little solution. I was doing a bit of research on the best way to connect up an air unit when you're not using like a Maytech flight controller where it's got the pads on it. If you use a fixed wing pilot and you don't want to use one of those, then there's various ways you can do it, but the idea of attaching it to the balance port seemed a good one to me. I'll probably do another video on that just to show how I set that up, so look out for that one. The reason why I'm talking fairly fast, by the way, is because the camera battery is about to run out, and I'm trying to get this done so I can get it edited. So what's left to talk about? You might notice there I've got a radio master receiver in, but when I started the video I was talking about Crossfire. The reason for that is I've made a really stupid mistake, and I've bought a Crossfire Nano, which until I got it out of the box and tried to fit it into my JR bay, I didn't realise that I actually need the Crossfire Micro. Didn't realise the difference first time I've bought one. However, I've contacted TBS, Team Black Sheep, who make Crossfire, and they've been brilliant. They came straight back to me and said, don't worry, we'll send you out a micro case, and as long as you're okay doing a little bit of soldering, it's quite easy to swap the cases over, so that's all good. So at some point I'll swap this over for the Crossfire receiver, just to have a go at doing maybe a little bit of long range stuff. So the jumper receiver is connected using S-Bus. It's really easy to, there's no soldering for this, it's just got a nice little plug that goes in the jumper receiver and then with a servo lead on the end. So that's connected via S-Bus to this Dectrum Z3 autopilot light system. So this is a little 6-axis flight controller, has wind rejection mode on it, has safe mode on it, and also return to home function. You set it up using the little programming card. It's pretty easy to set up. I did have a bit of a nightmare with it, with this being a Delta. It's the first time I've used it as a stabilizer in a Delta, and I was having some issues with when I was pulling on the elevator, it was actually doing the ailerons and vice versa. And I went through everything, couldn't figure out why, but it's to do with the way this Dectrum works. If you reverse the gyro correction, which I had to because it was going the wrong way, what I found is you have to reverse both the aileron and elevator gyro connection, otherwise you get this problem where it's almost like it's mixed the channels up. It was really bizarre, so it took me a little while to figure out what the hell was going on with that. But other than that, it seems like a nice, neat little box. And the thing I like about this one over the Zoe HD one is that this one does wind rejection as well as return to home, whereas the Zoe HD doesn't do wind rejection. That's sort of like a safe mode, and I don't really like flying it in that because it's too restrictive. But this doesn't do the auto launch, which the Zoe HD does. So they've both got their uses. The other thing I don't like about this Dectrum one is the GPS unit is huge. So I've somehow got to figure out what I'm going to do with this big cable. I think I'm going to have to actually cut this down if I can and resolder it, make it a lot smaller, and probably just have the GPS unit stuck on there. But I'll let you know about that one when I film this down at the flying field. And I think that about wraps it up. I'm really quite pleased with it. I think it looks pretty cool. Really looking forward to flying it. It's got plenty of pull, even just on 3S. So if I do at some point stick a 4S in it, it's really going to motor, I think. But yeah, really looking forward to just being able to throw this in the car, and it's just a quick plane to get in the air and have a bit of fun with. Take a whole load of batteries down the field and off you go. And obviously then you've got that added benefit of doing a bit of FPV flying as well if you want to. So that's it for this video. Thanks a lot for watching. I've now got to go away and edit this, which is going to take me a while because I've taken so many different clips. But of course, when you see this, you'll be seeing the final version anyway, so all that work will be done. Yeah, watch out for the next video. As I say, I think the next one I might do is of how I get the DJI FPV air unit hooked up using the balance port and the little beck and all that sort of stuff. So as always, if you haven't subscribed to my video, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up, hit the like button. If you've got any comments, stick them in the comment section below. And thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.